So in my last video, I talked about ArenaNet's last livestream, where they unveiled the details about the upcoming expansion End of Dragons. And in that video, I said
You
this.
can now pre-order End of Dragons. I do not recommend doing this.
And some of you guys have since then asked me why I would recommend that you not do it. So, in this video, I'm going to explain why I think it's a bad idea. But before I get into all the nitty-gritty stuff, please leave a like on the video for the almighty algorithm, and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, especially if you like to see this type of content. Back in the day, pre-orders were a way of ensuring that you can get your hands on a product when it releases. This is because back in the day, you had to get a physical copy of a game. Most retailers also had to pre-order games themselves from the publisher and were only given a set amount of copies of the game based on their location and gross sales. I mean, just think about the logistical nightmare here. This means that if your local GameStop, Blockbuster, Toys R Us, and everyone else had to pre-order the physical copies of the game, shelve them, and hope to sell out as fast as possible in order to make profit. So, if you then pre-order from them, you ensured that you got a copy waiting for you at the till, and most times you also got a discount. This is a tactic called Preorder Incentive or Preorder Bonuses, the bonus being the discount on the game that you're buying. The reason that manufacturers or developer want to use this tactic is to create a strong initial sales which could represent to the consumers as well as the shareholders that the product is good and will make a profit. It also gave the developers a strong foundation for market forecasting, which provided the necessary information needed for physical production of the game or the physical game copies. But in the modern era of technology, this is a non-existing problem, as close to every game is distributed digitally, with a low number of collector's editions needing physical production. The collector's editions are made solely for the true fans of the franchise and are rarely bought by anyone else. So why is it today that almost every game that comes out is either pre-order or in a state of perpetual early access? If we look at it from a business standpoint, it is the perfect scenario for the developer. They have an idea for a game, but they don't know if it will make a profit. So they build an awesome teaser trailer with all these amazing features and market the shit out of it to get your attention. As a consumer, this means that the game company is beating you in an alley and taking your rent money and shitting in your mouth. Because they don't actually give a shit about you. They just need the green, big, sexy numbers on the bottom line at the end of the year. I'm going to touch on a quick example of early access hype and how that can kill a game before I go back into pre-orders. And this early access example is Valheim, a pretty awesome game made by Irongate Studios, released on early access on the 2nd of February 2021. They sold around 5 million copies in the first month. Digitally, mind you, it's the fucking 21st century. Irongate teased almost immediately with 4 giant content patches for their new early access success. But yet again, they could not deliver. In June, 4 months after the early access launch, and then on the halfway mark of the year, they announced that they would not be able to keep their promise of 4 content updates, and announced that the first one, Hearth and Home, could launch in the 3rd quarter of 2021, and that they're taking down their roadmap probably indefinitely. In other words, Irongate Studios, a team of 5 people, made $90 million in profits on an unfinished game, and they have technically no reason to finish it. But I'm not here to shit on Valheim, because I genuinely enjoyed it and I hope it gets a full release. But let's move back over to the pre-order bullshit. Remember Fallout 76, when they promised a fancy $200 pre-order pack that featured an awesome canvas vest tech duffel bag, a power armor helmet, and all that jazz? And remember how fucking pissed everyone was when they received a cheap nylon trash bag that was basically just a repurposed tent they found in a trash pile after a festival and then sold it for $200? And do you remember how well the launch went for Cyberpunk, a game that was 8 years in the making by the Beacon of Hope CD Projekt Red, the makers of The Witcher, for God's sake? Well, they too managed to completely fuck up and rip off an entire generation because their shareholders needed a new yacht. Again, I'm not shitting on CD Projekt Red. I love the guys. But the people at the top are the problem because they just think about the bottom line. I could talk about these 2 fiascos for hours on end, but I won't. I just want you guys to keep these things in mind while I move on to the next parts of the video. Both of these options, pre-order and early access, allow the developer or publisher to cash in on the profits of a product that they have yet to actually make. They sold you the hopes and dreams of a perfect experience and then often only deliver a broken, buggy dumpster fire that nobody wanted. Essentially, you're paying for a promise without any grounds for actual completion. Basically, pre-ordering rewards the studio for releasing a game, whether they made a good game or not. And generally, refunds don't hurt the production studios as much as the statistics that it sold 2 million units on pre-sales. You only got two options at this point, and that's to suck it up or go through the tedious process of maybe getting a refund. So let's talk about Guild Wars 2. Since most of my viewers are avid gamers of Guild Wars 2, I'll try to bring some examples of why I don't think you should pre-order anything from ArenaNet. The core version of Guild Wars 2 is a free-to-play game, we all know this, but in order to play the newer content, or better said, the actual current content, you will need to purchase the expansions. You can level all the way up to max in the free-to-play version, which is good in and of itself, but you will run into quite a few quality of life problems pretty quickly. By the time you have reached level 80, you will have noticed that you have practically no inventory space or storage space. This is because you need to expand your storage capabilities through the cash shop, where you can increase your capacity with in-game cash. You will notice that pretty much everything that makes the game bearable is locked behind some sort of gem purchase, and the only way to get gems is to whip out the credit card or to convert in-game gold to gems. And because most players don't know how to make enough gold to make this sustainable, this often leads to a simpler solution of just spending $10 on a tiny upgrade and get on with your day. But over time, you will need more and more space, and you will spend more and more money. This effectively makes the game a pay-to-play game, and it's pretty fucking close to becoming a pay-to-win game as well, because you cannot get anything in the game without space. Another downside is that ArenaNet is pushing FOMO, or the fear of missing out, extremely hard. Almost every week they promote some sort of cash shop deal that is only available for a limited time and will not return to the store at any time soon. This again pushes the players to spend more money on gems or convert their hard-earned gold. ArenaNet has had backlash for almost every update that they have released and has seemed to always ignore the player base begging for bug fixes or balance patches. Almost all exposure is about merchandise, sales, or other offers, and they have basically no community management, as well as seemingly not caring about the community at all. Remember the whole Casiano thing? Fucking printing money for a year? And almost all new store content is injected into the loot boxes first, or the black lion chests, and the list goes on and on and on. And don't misunderstand me, I know the whole point of making a video game is to make money off it, but there's more effective ways of doing it rather than exploiting the player base and just taking your money. So the point that I'm trying to make is that even if a game company has a great track record and has made some awesome games before, that doesn't mean that whatever they're pre-selling is worth whatever they're charging. The most glorified game company in the world, CD Projekt Red, managed to astronomically fuck up their launch of Cyberpunk. And I'm not doubting for a second that ArenaNet will manage to fuck up their own End of Dragons. They started teasing us with the live stream reveal months ago, and what they decided that we would be most excited about was fucking fishing. A game mechanic that almost never works as intended. Secondly, they gave us boats after we got underwater mounts and flying mounts. And thirdly, the legendaries that most people are always super excited about are now more basic than a basic Black Lion skin set. Oh, and by the way, if you're agreeing with me at all here, hit the like button or dislike. Like whatever, we just need some stats. Anyway, if ArenaNet actually manages to make these features work, good for them. But the whole point of this video is that they should prove that it actually works before they start charging people through pre-orders and making all the profits before they finish the game. As the old proverb goes, never sell the bear skin before killing it. Or whatever, just 1,000 translations. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when I post new videos. And also let me know your thoughts on the matter in the comments. Do you agree with my thoughts, or do you think I'm an idiot? Let's hear it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.